Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Metal3 Community meeting. Today is Wednesday, 8th of September. And just a small reminder that this meeting is recorded and will be uploaded into the YouTube channel of Metal3. And please add your name into the attendee list and also add any topics that you have in mind into the agenda so we can discuss. And then if anyone's in the call, which is like join the meeting in the first time, so please go ahead and introduce about yourself. I guess no one new in the call, so let's start with the agenda. So I think the first item is from Ferro, the item about keeping honors up to date and how we can improve the review process. So yeah, please go ahead, Ferro.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss a little bit about maintaining and reviewing the pull requests, proposals, and so on. So I understand that the community maintainers and like reviewers have limited capacity to review all the changes across repos. First of all, because it's a whole org that are many repos, meaning many PRs, but sometimes it's frustrating for people to wait for a long time to get even some minor patches to get merged. I remember that previously we discussed this, so we had similar sort of discussion on the mailing list, but I just wanted to bring it up again because I think there are some couple of improvements that can be done to this review process, or maintaining the owners files rather. And maybe you will also have some suggestions. So I just looked at how the owners files work in some other projects, and just was checking this Kubernetes recommendation on maintaining these owners files, and I just found a couple of things that we could also do in Metal3. So for example, the first one is adding the new people to the owner files. I mean, those who are active in the community or in the repo and gained like enough competence in that specific domain can be maybe added to the review and approve patches like more frequently. Then I think we also should remove inactive people from the owners files, so that first of all, we don't bother those people by tagging them on the pull requests or in the proposals, and we don't also just keep the name there. We also probably could grow the number of owners files within a repo. This means like in subdirectories of the repository, we can have sub-owners files, and those people in the sub-owners files will be able to review and approve, or just give approve an LGTM only if the PR is touching that specific area. That actually has quite many pluses. First of all, having sub-owners reduces workload like on the root owners, and like those people who are in the owners sub-owners files might be, for example, might have good expertise in that specific domain, so that might also they also can help in the review process as well, and share the work, like they share the number of the PRs that they can like review with the root owners. Also, having more reviewers than approvers is a good and suggested example apparently in maintaining healthy owners files. So I think that's also something that we can consider. If you just look at this file, they're seeing also that one of the bad example owners file is where there are directories that lack owners files, like sub owners. So it's really kind of recommended to have to have sub owners files within like some directories. But as I said, it's just to reduce the overload on the root owners. It's also recommended to review and update the owner files like every 6 months. So I think that is also something that we can kind of do frequently, like within certain time. Just go to the owners files, check who are active or not, try to update the file, and maybe if there's some new folks interested and active, then try to add them to the owners. And we could also use the emirates. So it might be that sometimes some of the maintainers of the repos, for example, no longer active in that repo or in the whole project because they changed, for example, their focuses on other projects. So instead of removing them directly from the owners, we could also use this emirates approvers list. So that actually blocks giving LGTM or approve, but it still kind of keep people in there. So if someone is, for example, PR of author opening pull request, and if he or she or someone wants to get some review from that person, they still can ping that person, for example, on GitHub and ask for a second review. And if the person comes back to the project and again active, that they can be, for example, flipped over to the actual approvers or reviewers and uh, uh, have the rights to actually give HTML and approve. So this is what I was thinking, that we could just maybe try to update a couple of owners files in multiple repos. Because I have also personally seen some PRs waiting for quite a long time, and of course you as a PR author don't want to always bother the maintainers by tagging them every time, because we also understand that like reviewers and then the maintainers are also busy with other stuff, so it's not just like reviewing the PRs. So that's also understandable. So maybe we could try to add more owners files, update them more frequently. So that's what I was thinking and just wanted to discuss with everyone. Any questions or comments on this?
I definitely think we could give more ironic people some rights inside of ironic bits of experimental operator, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Not sure about the subdirectories one, if it's something that could be applied in all cases, but maybe there could be some interesting occasion. But in general, I think it's a good idea also to eventually add new people.
Yeah, we have this pull request. Can you open that now, please? The one in BMO. So we recently added, well, maintainers of BMO added myself and Kashif as a approver for some of the directories in BMO. So if you open the file changes, for example, it's config file, ironic torment, resources, and tools, for example. So if there's a pull request that touches only these directories, we have the right to give LGTM or approve if the patch looks okay, of course. So this means, like, for example, these PRs doesn't, like those PRs that are touching only these directories don't need to be always reviewed by the root owners. So less overload on them. So it's kind of sharing the load between those folks. And then it's good for the PR author because the PR gets reviewed quickly, and less frustration, of course. So this can be done in many CAPM3 repo in BMO, for example, like Dimitri just mentioned. Some ironic folks, for example, could be added here as well. We should do in some other repos as well, I think.
Yeah, I also think that it is like very important to have faster like reviewing process and to apply a kind of hierarchy. Um, I mean, way of adding people to the approval list is like a good idea. So we don't like put all the workload to the to the root maintainer, but we have like other people who can help them in small in smaller directory. So that's a very good idea, and I personally like plus one for that. So are there any other comments or questions regarding to this one? So Ferud, do you think how should we move forward to this one?
Um,
Should we?
maybe like we need to first agree like on this, like, or just document it, for example, in Metal3 docs, like normal procedure for this, so that like we agree on this, because I'm not sure if every maintainer is on the call right now. So I will try to just make it just kind of the formal, and then add kind of document in Metal3 docs, ask everyone for a review, have their like ask for their like questions or comments, and if agreed, then try to start updating the owners files in different repos. For example, I know that some of the folks in some of the repos are not active anymore. So it makes sense to remove them from the owners, or instead of removing, just use the Emirates list, like approvers, put them there as kind of the backup. Yeah, that is something that can be done. And for adding new people, I think this is not something that I can do. It is just collaborative thing. So it needs to be discussed and agreed within the repo maintainers to add more people.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to follow the normal procedure. Put something like maybe a proposal to the Metal3 docs and collect more input from people. Yeah, and then we can see how to move forward, or how let's see how people decide.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, if we don't have any other comments or questions, so okay, so I think we don't have any other topic, unless someone has anything to share, which is not in the agenda. Otherwise, I think we could close the meeting today. So thank you very much, Firoz, for bringing a very interesting topic. And thank you everyone for joining, and have a nice day and have a nice rest of the week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.